It's Backstage Pass with Steve Ryan. And here's your host, Steve Ryan.
All right, brother, how are you?
I am very good, thank you, Steve. I'm very good.
I'm so happy to talk to you. I was speaking to a friend of mine and telling her that we were going to have this conversation today, and she just started singing "Unbelievable," and huge hit in the States and all over the place. But I think it's kind of the band's signature song, and it just it's such a happy song. Just kind of it's one that you start grooving to, and if it comes in a club or something, I mean, you can't sit down.
It's funny because some people say to me, "Aren't you fed up of playing that song?" And I'm like, you'd think maybe I was, but I'm really not because every time we play it, the place just goes wild. It's just
Yeah.
like the joy that song brings. And and my sister-in-law had her 50th birthday a couple of weekends ago, and somebody said, "Oh, can you just get it on the guitar and just play it yourself?" And I got up there, and the place went, what? It was the highlight of the birthday party. Like everyone, and and what a blessing that we stumbled upon that one. It's like so yeah,
Did you
very very
know?
happy.
Did you guys know when you were recording it? Did it feel different than, maybe some of the other songs, or no, just kind of a surprise?
I'm not sure we did. I remember even coming out of the studio, and this is typical. Because this is my life, right? I come out of the studio, and I'm like, I don't think the snare sound is quite right. Look at,
Yeah.
like I remember saying to James, and he's like, stop it, stop like overdoing it. And that's our relationship, James and I. He's like throwing these things out here, and I'm fine tuning them, and and but I mean, I don't think either of us knew what it was going to become. I mean, it was a surprise. It was
Yeah.
there we were. I think,
Yeah, the right song at the right time, it just
yeah,
popped.
and
Yeah.
a lot of those things are like that, because I've spent my life writing songs, and that sometimes the stars align, and the song, like you say, right song, right time, right promo, right, opportunities, and it just starts to connect, and
As a songwriter, I'm curious, and it's not a loaded question, you don't have to answer, but is there, because you've written a lot of songs outside of EMF that I hope we can talk to. I know I have a limited amount of time, but I hope we can talk about it a little bit later.
yeah.
Um, but has there been a time when you're like, man, this one just feels like this feels like it, and then it's like, man, what happened to that?
Many, many,
Yeah.
every song, every song, apart from the few that actually did connect. I mean, I write songs all the time,
Yeah.
and you know, the big black hole of songs, some of them just slip in there, and some of them that just really didn't deserve to slip in there are in there, and who knows?
Yeah.
But maybe I'll sort of fish them out again, and something will work. I don't know. It's just
Yeah. So
what I love about. Sorry, Steve. What I love about EMF is that there's a sort of community around EMF that enjoys what James and I love working together. It is the joy of my life, writing songs with James, working with the band, and there's a community of people that appreciate that, and I think that's what's great about EMF is that that there are people out there who when you work hard on something, they will appreciate it,
yeah.
um and that's
You guys did a Bauhaus cover recently. Bela Lugosi's dead. And the thing I love about your version of that song is that, I mean, I don't know that Americans know it as well as people in the UK, but the thing I like about, I was spending some time with it yesterday. it's really great, but it's not too much. You guys kind of did it's kind of subtle. Your version is kind of subtle. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Hey, listen, once again, I got so involved in all the tiny minutiae of it. I don't know. I find it very difficult to listen back to it and be and have have some perspective on it afterwards. So that it's really good to have some feedback and for you to think that it's subtle, that it's I don't know, that it's not trying to do too much,
Yeah.
and it's a homage from the heart because we grew up listening to that. I remember seeing Bauhaus in 1989, and like, and that song was just like, what was that
Yeah.
song?
Yeah.
It's like this. It was almost like this sort of reggae-ish, Scottish beat with these weird guitar, and it took 22 minutes long.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. It went on
just
forever.
went right. And but it's just one of those. That's one of those moments, when you're young and you think, you can do anything. You can,
Yeah.
you listen to a band like that who are just like experimenting, and the freedom of that was such an inspiration. And it was James that suggested we do it. When we were thinking about Halloween last summer, funnily enough, and um and I'm so pleased he did, because we were like, oh, well, we can just do our own version of it. We found like this great groove that felt
Hmm.
like a sort of some EMF-y, hip hoppy groove, and then we went into the four to the floor, like full techno thing, and we just had fun.
Yeah. Yeah. But it wasn't too in your face. Like, I don't want to say it sounds weird and simplistic, but not trying too hard. You know what I mean? It was just like you guys just kind of grooved into it. I just loved it.
Thank you,
I
thank you.
had Daniel Ash on this program a few weeks ago,
Oh
and
yes,
we talked about that song, and he's got a new project out, and we talked about Love and Rockets and stuff like that. But man, that guy is so cool.
yeah, right. I mean, the band are so cool, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And just, I mean, yeah, amazing, amazing guy.
Hey, going back to the album from 1990 that Schubert did and had Unbelievable on it, but it had a couple other songs on it that I really love, and a song that was a big hit here in the States was Lies. And
Yes,
good. I think that was after Unbelievable, right?
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I've bled too much with every lie you keep on telling. I've bled too much this time each time. The harder we fall, the closer we are. Well, I don't feel blue when I'm with you. You said too much, and what you said it was a lie.
Just, I think we were experimenting with sound at the time. There were clubs where we lived. I don't know whether this happened in the States, but they would play both like guitar bands, like there was, all the British indie bands like the Smiths and Echo and the Bunnymen and the Cure and those sort of bands that were coming through at the time, late late 80s. And also they started playing Public Enemy
Yeah.
and like some of those hip hop records, and we loved both, and some of the acid house stuff as well, and we loved a bit of everything. And I think we just, you know naively, perhaps, we just thought, oh well, you just stick it together, and you do a bit of this and a bit of that, and you mix it all up together,
Yeah.
and somehow made it work. And I think Lies is interesting because it's got that boom, ka-cha, doom, 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 ka-cha,
Yeah.
which is sort of that hip hop off time thing, and but then, with a guitar riff on the top of it, and again it was all, we sort of had this manifesto. It's like we're going to use guitars, like indie guitars, rocky guitars. We're going to use those beats, those hip hop beats, and we're going to write songs. And it just those things that defined the sound, I think.
Yeah. But you guys, a lot of your songs, I mean, you're not afraid to get up in the tempo. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about like Children and I Believe. Both of those songs are really fast.
Yeah, that's not hip hop, is it? Well, hip
No.
hop's like 90 beats per minute, and Children is like 130 beats per minute, and I believe 125. So, no, like I say, there's some of those house beats especially the acid house beats, they were really fast. So somehow it all got mixed up together, and
Yeah.
maybe because we didn't know what we were doing. Sometimes that's a great thing. Is
Yeah.
that's the punk ethos, and I come from punk. When I heard the Sex Pistols and the Clash and the Damned, and you got this sense that they just picked up some guitars and did it, and I was
Yeah.
like, I can pick up a guitar and do it, and and that I love that, and I still love to try things like you get some weird keyboard and just start making noise and yeah.
When did you decide as a I don't know, teenager or young man or whatever that yeah, I want to play a guitar. I want to be in a band. I want to do this. Was it just always something inside, or was there a period of time where it's like it clicked and it's like, I'm going to pick up the guitar. I'm going to learn how to play the guitar. Where did that happen for you?
Age 14, I went to a school disco and I had my flares on, my big
Yeah.
70s flares, ready to dance to ABBA, and
Uh-huh.
somebody put on Pretty Vacant by the Sex Pistols. And and that and I think the other kids, some of the punk kids at school were like, what is this little kid with his flares on doing pogoing to this record? But I couldn't help myself. It
Yeah.
was just like, and I had a paper round, and I took my pocket money and then my paper round money, and I bought a guitar, like a cheap guitar, started a punk band, just started just hitting the note, like, and that was the moment.
Wow.
Just I was going all the way, and you dream of going to America, going on tour in America. You dream of having a hit record, and for many years it was my dream, and I didn't could I really do it? And
Hmm.
eventually I got a record deal, and then made every mistake in the book and didn't sell a record, and then another record deal, made a whole bunch more mistakes, and then I met James and the boys from EMF, and somehow I guess I'd made enough mistakes to know how to do it right, and it came together. But that's the moment for age 14, and
Wow.
I hope if anyone's listening and there's young kids, like, just do it, just like go out there, just it's for you to do. If you want to do it, just go and do it.
You know what I love about that story is that you know that pinpoint in time. Sometimes I ask people that question and they're like, "Yeah, I just always kind of felt it," but they don't have that moment. And I love that you have that moment. That is
Oh yeah,
so cool.
those green flares,
Yeah.
they
Wow.
weren't holding me back. They weren't going to hold me
Yeah.
back.
Hey, and speaking of guitar and guitar solos, on the Stigma album, there's a song on there called "Getting Through." And on that song, I noticed that there's like these mini guitar solos in between the verses. You know what I mean? Which you don't hear all the time. Man, I love that. I was just listening to it the other day.
Yeah. Hey, listen. I'm a guitarist. I love punk, and then I started getting into Cream, like Eric
Yeah.
Clapton,
Mhm.
and I got into the Doors. I mean, Robbie Krieger for me was a god, and playing guitar solos, and I don't know, I just put guitar solos in dance songs.
They're not intrusive, you know what I mean?
Well, again, it comes back to that thing. You just sort of put them in and try and make it work. It's about guitar riffs as well. I don't. It's not about doing fancy heavy metal long solos. It's about having a moment. A
Yeah.
moment of climax and having a great guitar riff and a hook. And same way, because the punks, they use the guitars like that. I mean, the first guitar solo I worked out was the Stranglers' "No More Heroes."
Yeah.
Great guitar solo, and there's a way to do it that's not too egotistical, I think. And
Yeah. No, you just kind of slip them in there. I think it's a great, you know, speaking of your guitar on Cha Cha Cha, Perfect Day, you have kind of this groovy fuzzy thing. I don't know what you've got, but I just call it fuzzy on the guitar solo. It's just such a cool song. It was a hit it was a pretty big hit in the UK, but it's kind of, is it that fuzz box or something?
do you know that is called an electro harmonics micro synthesizer, and it's a particular thing. It's this great box, this distortion box that gives you this really edgy distortion. I was trying to copy Robbie Krieger's distortion because he Robbie Krieger from the Doors on something like the when the music's over, that song, he sort of breaks into this distortion, or in the end, and I was sort of trying to find something that was really like dirty
Yeah.
and that. When I hit that one, I loved it, and I've used it ever since. That's sort of become part of the sound. It's a
Yeah.
It's a perfect day. It's a perfect day. It's a perfect day. So we turn it on, tune it in, got ourselves a beer, sat down, began to watch, everything's clear. Things degenerated, we began to sing. Boss says to us,
You know, Bleeding You Dry is on that album too, which is one of my go-to tracks. But the song, I looped it a couple of times. It was actually last weekend. I just was streaming your catalog, and West of the Cox came on. And you know what I love about that song is it's a little slower, but it's kind of dreamy. It's kind of like a dream. You know what I mean? It's kind of it has a mood to it.
that's it's interesting that you spoke about that one because in a sense that was a very autobiographical song, um, and because it was at the time when we'd sort of, I think it was just before we split up, and we weren't sure who we were, and West of the Cox is the opposite of Cox of the people. We used to say Cox of the West because we come from the West in England, and
Yeah.
guys from the West would be called Cox of the West, and so we called it West of the Cox, and there's a line in it. We've got this big decision to make, a country mile or a US pancake, and like that it was sort of talking about, are we going to be like where we came from, or were we going to be this sort of huge thing that we became in the US? And I think we weren't sure. We didn't have an answer to that, and we sort of went our separate ways because we didn't. I think and it was madness. What a wonderful thing to have a huge hit record and travel the world. But after 5 years, everyone just sort of lost it a bit, and I think everyone just need to sort of go off and do their own thing, and which is what we went to do.
on the run, in the sun, high on the rocks, west of the Cox. Wake up quick, no one sleeps. When we're awake, we go for weeks. Our eyes are red, but we feel great. We went to see a butterbeer crate. And have you heard the classic tune?
And now that sounds like an unanswered question that you had in the lyric. And sometimes that's okay. And so now that you guys are back together, has the question been answered? Or are you just like, you know what, let's just go with it?
Well, oh my God, yeah. Do you know, I hadn't thought about that, Steve, but that's a really good question. And what well, I think it will always be a question we have to ask. But do you know what it is? Is that we need to love to ask that question. I think,
Yeah.
and right now we are loving that question. We love taking things from our roots, and we love looking out and seeing what's going on in the world, and just trying to, like we did in the first place, like I said, is just put them together in our own naive way, and but with the joy, with the joy was missing. That's
Yeah.
what was missing.
Yeah.
It's like, and you creativity is always asking those questions, but you got to do it with love, loving some guitar riff, and
Yeah.
and an idea. When James and I work on something, and that's the answer to the question. We do, like, James and I are having so much fun, and the great thing is that the pressure is off. We have nothing to prove.
Right.
We've got a wonderful community of fans out there who are enjoying it, and hopefully we're picking up a few more along the way, and we're having a great time.
Well, sometimes I think you got to step back and get perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the truth.
Anything else coming up in 26 with you guys in the States or
Um,
anywhere? I mean, I've got a lot of UK viewers.
yes, well, after the cruise and the 3 dates in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville, and Tampa, um, we will be out in the UK, playing a bunch of dates in the UK. We'll be back in the States doing the East Coast in May, playing some festivals in the UK, probably Europe in October, and maybe even back in the US later in the year.
Wow. I'll keep an eye on your itinerary. Maybe we'll land in the same spot and I can catch the show. That would be great.
Do come and say hello, Steve, if you do.
I will.
I think our favorite EMF song ever is a song called "The Day the Music Died."
I was just going to ask you about that.
Oh, I'm glad you like that one. That's that, because we love that. Well, and we tried brass for the first time, and we got the Haggis horns, who did all the horns on Amy Winehouse's records, to come and play the brass on it. And it's like it was another way to it's much slower. It's got a great
Brother,
acid
that
synth
song is so
groove.
funky. I mean, it's
Right.
funky.
Education's gonna blow your minds.
Oh, you made a white boy happy, Steve.
Yeah.
You made
Wow.
that's
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was the last song I was gonna make sure we talked about before I talked about your other writing projects. Because of the EMF catalog, I know Unbelievable was a big hit, but The Day the Music Died is my favorite song you guys do.
you are an authentic EMF fan, because that is our favorite song as well.
Wow. Wow. I love
Yeah,
that. Made my
me
day.
too. Ah, and mine,
Hey,
and mine.
yeah. Hey, you're okay if we talk about some of your writing, brother?
Very happy
Yeah.
to
I
talk.
mean,
Yeah.
you've had hits, brother. You've had hits that I wasn't even aware of until I did a deep dive into you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
I mean,
I had a spell in 2008.
yeah, well, you co-wrote a ton of tunes. I mean, the Beyonce Shakira song "Beautiful Liar,"
Yeah.
I mean, that was huge.
Let's not kill the drama. Let's not start a fight. It's not worth the drama for a beautiful life. Can't we laugh about it? It's not worth our time. We can live without him. Just a beautiful life. I trusted him, but when I followed you.
Yeah, that was
How does
well. funnily enough, strangely enough, Unbelievable was number one in the States and number three in the UK. And Beautiful Liar was number three in the States and number one in the UK. So finally, I got my number one in the UK.
There you
Um,
go.
it took a while, but I got there
How
eventually.
how does it feel as a songwriter? Does it feel different than being the performer too?
Yes, yes, it does, and I think I enjoyed that. I very much enjoyed being behind the scenes and writing songs for a while, and after EMF had got so crazy, and I met my wife and settled down a bit, so it was great to be working in studios and not going out on the road all the time. Um, and yes, and I worked with Amanda Ghost, who was a singer, and we made a couple of albums for her, and then just ended up in an office in New York and with Beyonce and Jay-Z, and they were like, "Oh, we want you to write a song," and for us, and uh, and Amanda and I had written songs for years together, and I'd written songs for EMF, and you start with an idea and you develop it and you take some time over it, and so I remember Amanda saying to Beyonce, "Oh, well, we could get to know you and work on some ideas." And Beyonce was like, "I'm so sorry, but I'm just way too busy. We've got this great backing track. It's a hip hop beat. It's got some Spanish guitars on it. It's going to be a duet. Me and Shakira, she's agreed to it, but we haven't got a song. And some people
Wow.
have tried to write on it. Some big people have tried to write this on this track, and no one's cracked it. Do you want to give it a go?" And we were like, "Yes." But and she said, "Well, the studio's booked tonight. See what you come up with." And we're like, "Oh my God, we have an afternoon to write a song." And we went back to the hotel and wrote "Beautiful Liar." And so it was this sort of sudden shift in writing where you was writing something sort of to order, and we sort of and they loved it. It came out. It was a hit record, and then we started writing more songs. And with Stargate, with this great producer duo, Stargate, who are responsible for so many hits for so many people, and they just liked that we could come up with ideas and flesh them out lyrically, and
Wow.
we wrote Tattoo for Jordan Sparks.
Yeah, huge.
Um,
I can't waste time, so give it a moment. I realize nothing's broken. No need to worry about everything I've done. Live every second like it was my last one. Don't look back, got a new direction. I love you once, needed protection. You're still a part of everything I do. You're on my heart just like a tattoo. Just like a tattoo. I'll always have you. I'll always have you.
which was a hit. We wrote a bunch more songs on I Am Sasha Fierce, including Ave Maria for Beyonce. We wrote Gypsy for Shakira. We
I love
wrote,
that song.
yeah, beautiful song, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful song.
You can bet I'll try it, but you can't always win. 'Cause I'm a gypsy. Are you coming with me? I might steal your clothes and wear them if they fit me. Never made agreements, just like a gypsy. And I won't back down 'cause life's already bit me. And I won't cry, I'm too young to cry if you gon' quit me. 'Cause I'm a gypsy.
Again, so autobiographical, and a song called Red for Daniel Merriweather that was a hit
All right,
in
slow
the
down a minute because I
UK.
want to stop you on that one because I love that song. It wasn't a hit over here,
No,
but man, that song is and it's so sad.
yeah,
Wow. And it's not something that when I listen to that I think of you.
no,
Did you
no.
have
And
to
I
come
think
out of your box a little bit on that or was it just an evolution as you wrote more?
we wrote that with another writer called Scott McFarlane, and he had a really he was an artist as well, and so we'd been working with him, and uh, and I don't know, just sometimes you just throw some ideas around with somebody, and I remember Amanda saying, "Oh, this Yellow had just come out," and Amanda
Yeah,
said,
Coldplay.
"Oh, we need to write a song with a color. Let's write a song called Red." And Scott had had a difficult upbringing, I think, and spoke about his father a little bit, and said, so we discussed how to use a concept like Red and make it work, and that, I came up with this line: "You took something perfect and painted it red," and it just sort of, sometimes a line just goes ping and it just works. And
You see the pictures, but you don't know their names. 'Cause life isn't it. I can't do this by myself. All of these problems, they're all in your head. And I can't be somebody else. You took something perfect and painted it red. Something perfect and painted it red.
And Scott had some beautiful melodies, and Bish Bash Bosh. I think I don't have an ego in a songwriting room. I love to have ideas, and I love taking somebody else's ideas and making them work. I mean, I think that's what James and I, get on very well with EMF, because he comes up with many ideas and I do, and we just take each other's ideas and find what's best for them. And so I'd like to be transparent as well as have ideas. It's about the idea. It's about making a connection, and that might not be sometimes a connection's already there in a simple lyric, and you don't have to do anything. And what's king is the connection.
Yeah, man, I love that song. But my favorite stuff that you've written for other people is the stuff that you did with Florence and the Machine. And
Oh
man,
yeah.
Bedroom Hymns is one of my favorite all-time songs, brother. I love that song so much.
Oh, you and I have such similar music tastes, Steve.
Yeah.
Because it's a sad tale in a way of Bedroom Hymns, because when we wrote it, Florence was like, "Oh my God, that's the single."
Spilt milk tears, I did this for you. Spilling over the idol, the black and the blue. The sweetest submission, drinking in the wine, the women, the bedroom hymns. 'Cause this is his body, this is his love. Such selfish prayers, and I can't get enough. 'Cause
And the original version of it was so good, and had this brilliant guitar riff on it. And we were in the studio. It's what's his name from Smashing Pumpkins studio, and I used he had a 12-string Fender guitar, and I did this guitar riff on it. It was so cool, and it was such a great version of it. And then the record got produced, and it got changed, and it ended up just on the deluxe version. I have to try and find the original version and send it to you, because it's it's so brilliant, and
Yeah.
she's such a great artist.
Man, I love that song. And the clapping and the percussion in there. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, right.
And then I Come Apart is man, I love that song with ASAP Rocky that she
Yeah.
does. Man, that's a great tune.
Separate the evils from the odd. I just hope you put me back together when I come apart.
You keep it together. I come apart. I can't stand the pressure. And all your grace and favor for me, I cannot compare. I come apart. This can't last forever. Can't last forever. Can't last forever.
I woke up today high.
Yeah, that's again just. I mean, Florence. There's there's
Yeah.
an artist,
Yeah.
amazing artist.
So is right now you're putting your creative energy into what you're doing with EMF? Are you still writing, or what kind of where are you at right now creatively?
Well, I'm loving EMF. I just think we, James and I, had such a great time back in 1990, and somehow we've caught that again, and just the joy of doing that. And so that's, I'm getting on a bit, and I'm going to do stuff that I love doing, and I love doing that.
Hey, where do you want people to how do people follow the band and follow you and see what you're doing, and where can people find the tour dates that are coming up here in 26 and all that good stuff?
EMF-theband.com. It's all there on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram. It's we're more of sort of Facebook demographic because
Yeah.
people our age like using Facebook. But you'll find us on Instagram too, and TikTok, and so just check it out. There's always something interesting happening in EMF world.
Yeah. Man, Ian, thank you so much for coming in and talking to me today. I've loved talking to you. And
Thank you, Steve.
and I hope that maybe when you get some of these other projects going on, maybe we can get together again and talk about the new things you have going on, and some of the other songs that we didn't get to highlight yet today. We can do that another time. But man, I appreciate your time. I know we had a kind of a hard time connecting, but boy, it was worth it.
Thank you so much, Steve. It's been a lot of fun. Can't wait to do it again.
Yeah. I'll talk to you again, my friend.
Take care, Steve.
For questions or comments, email Steve at steveryan.songoftheday@gmail.com.